Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Ministry of Labour, in cooperation with the Ministry of Education, announces the availability of nearly 1,000 teaching job opportunities. The accomplishing percentage in the construction works at Al Duqm refinery exceeds 85% by the end of July. And gradual decrease in COVID-19 deaths and cases are reported in the Sultanate. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The Ministry of Labour, in cooperation with the Ministry of Education, announced the availability of 997 teaching job opportunities in various disciplines, including 68 Arabic language teacher positions, 203 mathematics teacher positions, 26 chemistry, 34 physics, 67 biology, 107 music skill teachers, and 492 first field teachers. This comes within the Ministry of Education's plan to replace Omani teachers with jobs currently occupied by the experts. The jobs target job seekers, namely holders of education qualification and educational qualification diploma. The Ministry of Higher Education, Scientific Research and Innovation affirmed its keenness to choose research higher education institutions with good academic reputation that are enlisted in QS rank. In a statement to Oman News Agency, the ministry stated that the number of universities that students joined since the start of external undergraduate scholarship program in the academic year 2018-2019 reached 46 universities and education institutions in 6 countries. Sultan Qaboos University announced that the new academic year will begin on September 5th and all students are required to attend classes on campus. The announcement follows the recent decision of the Supreme Committee tasked with tackling the spread of COVID-19. Students, teaching and administrative staff have been informed to take the vaccine against COVID-19 and adhere to precautionary measures and procedures set by the Supreme Committee. Duqm is thriving day after day in accordance with its ambitious vision to become a global economic zone. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai.
Duqm Special Economic Zone is racing against time to implement strategic projects in various economic sectors. Duqm Refinery comes at the forefront of those projects whose construction work completion rate exceeded 85% at the end of last July.
As is known to everyone, the dry dock has been providing a lot of complex services to all the ship owners, and the requirements of the logistics and the requirements of the maintenance for all type of ships. This work has been done, for the last 3 to 4 years to put the dry dock in the right track. And today we have seen the achievements by the number of vessels that are coming to Oman dry dock. This year, for the first half, we have reached more than 100 vessels compared to last year. So basically, talk about 25% more vessels. And we have made sure that this is a one-stop shop that provides all type of services. So when the ship owners bring their vessels here, we make sure that we serve them A to Z, and to make sure that also we provide the right quality.
The refinery is linked to the Ras Al Markaz oil storage project, which is preparing to receive crude oil in the coming period. This coincides with the launch of a tender for construction of a road from Duqm Airport to Ras Al Markaz and the readiness of the commercial berth in the port of Duqm to install container cranes and bridge cranes, the completion of construction at the fishing port, and the expansion of the dry dock in providing providing its services to various types of ships. In the tourism sector, the city group is implementing on an area of 500,000 square meters a commercial tourism, residential and entertainment project that includes the establishments of a tourism hotel, a water park and high-level housing units. The investments flow in the special economic zone at Duqm is not limited to large projects, but it has spread to various activities.
If we are talking about our operation in Duqm, our occupancy has been increased comparing between the last years, around 20%, and that is a good sign for us. If we are talking about the facilities, what we are providing for our guests, as we know, according to COVID-19, all the service has been limited because of the COVID-19. About humanization, we have aligned with the percenting, and we have a lot of the position of the Omanis in the high management, like F&B, operation, security, and with the executive management.
Real estate and commercial properties that have spread in the city center and on the sides of the main streets to meet the needs of citizens, visitors and business owners. Duqm is thriving day after day in accordance with its ambitious vision to become a global economic zone with rising investment flows to it, backed by the completion of its infrastructure and legislation. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Duqm.
The Ministry of Health announced 4 deaths and 115 new cases of COVID-19 in the Sultanate. It also registered 182 recovered cases. The ministry also reported that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 301,683, while the total number of deaths reached 4,047. The total recovered cases reached 290,813. The ministry indicated that the number of inpatients during the last 24 hours is 12, bringing the total number to 150, of which 67 are in intensive care units. The Ministry of Labour has signed training coupled with job agreements with Al Worcester Fisheries Industries Company for 35 trainees. The agreement aims to define the opportunities available in the company for job seekers in addition to determining the required skills and qualifications. The Ministry of Labour said in a statement the ministry will finance training programs and monthly grants to trainees during the training period and also follow up on the selected training institutes' compliance with the applicable policies and procedures. Environment Authority and NAMA Group signed Memorandum of Cooperation to allocate 1,000 Omani Rials to support the national initiative to plant 10 million trees. The initiative aimed to increase and improve the vegetation in the degraded natural pastoral areas and raise the awareness of the importance of increasing the green area and its benefits for the environment and the community. Sultan Qaboos University established a hybrid power plant at the Sustainable Energy Research Center on an experimental basis at its seeks to conduct experiments related to energy security and efficiency, while also minimizing costs and reducing environmental harmful emissions. The hybrid power plant is equipped with state-of-the-art equipment and devices, including a smart microgrid system, electrochemical hydrogen fuel cells, and operated through a methanol fuel reformer and a deionized water system, in addition to providing cutting-edge laboratories for electrochemical experimental and methanol storage room. Now for the international world, Japan expanded its coronavirus state of emergency today for a second week in a row, adding 8 more prefectures as a surge in infections fueled by Delta variant strains and the country's healthcare system. The government last week extended the state of emergency until September 12 and expanded the areas covered by 15 prefectures from 6, including Tokyo, with 4 new prefectures added to the separate quasi-emergency status. 33 of Japan's 47 prefectures are now under some of a type of emergency measures. Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga said as he announced the measures that the Delta variant is very strong and the nation's further cooperation is necessary to overcome this crisis. UNICEF Afghanistan said today that 10 million children are in desperate need of humanitarian assistance since the Taliban swept to power this month. The organization said it expects the humanitarian situation in the country to worsen due to severe drought, the onset of winter and the coronavirus pandemic. Sam Moch, UNICEF Afghanistan Chief of Communications, said Afghanistan is a country in crisis and those who are at least responsible for it are paying the highest price. Children in Afghanistan already survive on humanitarian assistance and around 1 million are expected to suffer from life-threatening malnutrition this year. It said some 4.2 million children, including 2.2 million girls, are out of school. Sam warned that while UNICEF was able to provide water and other assistance to some of the internally displaced population, a recent drought in the country meant food production could run out in the coming months. Chancellor Angela Merkel told parliamentary today that Germany will continue evacuating people from Afghanistan for as long as possible. She said they will continue to evacuation operation for as long as possible in order to also make it possible for Afghans who worked with US for security, freedom, the rule of law and development to leave the country. Merkel said it was the largest evacuation operation in the history of the military, with more than 4,600 people from 45 nations flown out of Afghanistan by German forces. Almost half of those were women. Germany, alongside other American allies, including the United Kingdom, have pressed the longer window to continue evacuations past the deadline last week. Merkel said work was being done to find ways of continuing to protect Afghans from help German institutions even after the end of evacuations. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Ministry of Labour, in cooperation with the Ministry of Education, announces the availability of nearly 1,000 teaching job opportunities. The accomplishing percentage in the construction works at Al Duqm refinery exceeds 85% by the end of July. And a gradual decrease in COVID-19 deaths and cases are reported in the Sultanate. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studios and the newsroom, it's good night and stay safe.